WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you so much and welcome in, and thank you for joining us tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Kamari Hamer. Marcus Hunter is off tonight. 2025 ended on a deadly note in Choctaw County, where police and the Choctaw County Sheriff's Office are investigating the shooting death of a 19-year-old, where Police Chief Dylan Cates tells WCBI 19-year-old Caden Yarbrough was shot during an argument between him and another man. Cates says the incident happened at a New Year's Eve gathering on Thomas Circle Street. The argument turned physical and led to Yarbrough being shot. He was taken by ambulance to the Choctaw Regional Medical Center, where he died. There is a suspect being held in the Choctaw County Jail. He was taken into custody without incident around 2 a.m., but his name is not being released as of yet. Kate says the investigation is ongoing and formal charges will be announced later. The suspect is currently being held without bond.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Temperatures right now are sitting in the 40s and into the 50s. It was a warm New Year's Day today. Temperatures reached 70 degrees today, definitely above average. We're supposed to be in the mid 50s, so where temperatures are at right now, it's really where we're supposed to be, but we are not. We are sticking with those above average temperatures. If you head out the door in the morning, we are seeing the temperatures at 45 degrees at 7 a.m. Overcast conditions as rain begins to move into northeast Mississippi, though. I'll have more on the timing of that coming up on my main, so make sure to stick around. Kamari.
Thanks so much, Addison. Well, Mississippi's auditor says the alleged fraud involving Somalian-owned daycares in Minnesota should be a big concern for taxpayers right here in Mississippi. An investigation by Nick Shirley has found potentially billions of dollars in fraud involving Minnesota daycare centers. The investigation claims that Minnesota diverted tax dollars to fraudulent daycares over the past decade. As auditor of the state of Mississippi, Shad White uncovered the state's biggest public fraud case involving nearly $100 million in misspent welfare funds. White says every Mississippi taxpayer should be concerned about the Minnesota fraud investigation because it's tax dollars that are involved. He says nonprofits that get tax dollars should be an open book.
One part of the problem being folks want to ignore the fraud because they don't want to criticize anybody for political reasons. Well, you can't think like that. You have to be willing to tell the truth, even if it upsets people. You have to be willing to dig in and find fraud where it exists, regardless of who may be implicated. And so that's what we try to do here in the state auditor's office in Mississippi. And hopefully the nation will learn from what happened here and what happened in Minnesota, that we have to do a better job as a country of auditing taxpayer funds and making sure that they're going to where they're supposed to go.
And White is also a possible contender for next year's Mississippi governor's race. Well, Mississippi lawmakers head to Jackson next week for the 2026 legislative session. There are many issues facing lawmakers as they meet to adopt a state budget and other legislation over the next 2 nights. We will talk to lawmakers from both parties about their priorities. Tonight, our Alec Martin talks with a Democratic lawmaker from Northeast Mississippi.
As he prepares for his 5th legislative session, District 16 Representative Ricky Thompson believes school choice will be front and center. Representative Thompson says public school districts stand to lose a lot if tax dollars can be diverted to help pay for private school vouchers.
What you got to look at when you take taxpayers' dollars and send it to private school, that is a no-no, because if you're able to go to private school, you should be able to pay your way anyway. You shouldn't use taxpayers' dollars. So you got to understand when you're talking about school choice, if you're able to go to a private school, fine, but just don't take taxpayers' dollars and fund someone else to go to a private school.
Thompson says improving health insurance access and affordability will also be a top priority.
When you look at the way the health insurance is, we having a lot of people with this new big ugly bill and stuff like that. It's going to really cut down on where they don't have to pay more for health insurance. So you're going to have a lot of uninsured people that's going to be on it. So when you look at the rural hospitals and everything, it's going to really affect them. If you don't have insurance, that means you're going to have a lot of uncompensated care. So how do you adjust that to make sure that if you try to sustain the real hospitals and people are uninsured? So you got to really look at both sides of the issue to see how we make this thing work for the state of Mississippi.
Regarding the state retirement system known as PERS, Thompson says some changes are in order. During the last session, lawmakers overhauled PERS, requiring 35 years of service for full retirement benefits.
When you look at the time that you put in, the stress and everything, it's a lot on the body and a lot you have to deal with. So we need to make it more where when they come in the profession that they'll be taken care of, and just putting the extra time is not a good thing. So we need to see how we can figure it out to make it better for everybody that choose to go into a field.
Another big change: for the first time in 13 years, Republicans won't have a supermajority in the Senate. Representative Thompson says it will help with negotiations.
We do have a little edge to really get something done this time, so hopefully we'll work across the aisle and make things happen for the state of Mississippi.
Representative Thompson is also hopeful lawmakers will look at another increase in teacher pay, a boost for infrastructure maintenance funding, and restoring the ballot initiative to voters. Telling your story in Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And on Friday, Allie will talk with Republican Senator Chad McMahon about the top priorities for the GOP. Well, July 4, 2026 will mark America's 250th birthday. Big celebrations are planned across the country and locally to celebrate throughout the year. Now, in fact, next Tuesday, the Columbus Lowndes Public Library will open the Traveling Freedom, A History of Us exhibit by Dr. Susanna Ural with He Talk on Abraham Lincoln and America 250. Last October, local community members took part in America's 250's Our American Story when it made a stop right here in Columbus. The converted Airstream camper captured personal stories that will be used in documentaries leading up to the big birthday celebration. And to find out more on all of this and events throughout the year, visit America250.org. Well, it's New Year's Day, and that means many people are beginning their New Year's resolutions. One of the most popular resolution topics every year is health and wellness. Owner of the gym, Jessica Tackett, says the first day of 2026 has been a busy one with lots of calls, foot traffic, and some new faces. Tackett believes the new year gives people a fresh start to tackle their goals. Sometimes people do not always stick with their New Year's resolutions, so Tackett says they hope to keep people motivated by creating a safe space for everyone. Her advice is do not make it too hard on yourself.
All of us had a first day in the gym. We all had that first step, and we learned and grow. And all of us that they see in here that may look like we know what we're doing, we're still learning. So just kind of come in here and have fun. Just know that the time is going to pass regardless. So why not, focus on becoming a better, healthier you in the gym.
Anyone interested in learning more can follow the gym on social media. Visit their website at thegymms.com or call the number that you see right there on your screen at 662-871-1496. Well, different people have different ways to kick off the new year. Mississippi's state parks are encouraging people to get the first day of the year off on the right foot. Our Anthony Jenkins Jr. tells us people are starting a tradition of hiking as a way to bond with family.
The Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks is encouraging people to start the new year off on the right foot and explore the outdoor activities available at the state parks. Lake Lowndes' entry into the first day hike was a self-guided 5-mile trail that started at the Equestrian Trail parking lot.
It's just a good way to get out, do something as a family for the first day. You know, a lot of times right after Christmas, we're at home playing video games, watching TV, not doing anything together. So this was just a good chance to get out and do something in the community. All of us come together, have a little fun doing it, get some exercise, take in the fresh air.
Jody Edwards says with her first morning of the year being at Lake Lowndes, it has opened a chance at a new tradition for her family to get involved in.
I think we're going to start trying to hike about once a month, so this is a good way to start it. So if anybody else wants to try, it's a long trail, but it's a good way to get started and jump into it.
There were several people who traveled to take part in the first day hike, and the morning walk provided new opportunities for families to bond, exercise, meet new people, and explore the state park.
That was interesting, and the lady that just spoke, we ran into them right there past it. They went a different way, but it still came back around to the main trail. We finally found the trail that we were supposed to be on and took it. So it ended up great. Yeah. Beautiful views. The weather was fantastic. and it's a good start to 2026.
Keith Martin says the first day hike is a unique way to begin the New Year's journey.
Usually New Year's we're with family and we're eating a ton and doing all that kind of stuff, family stuff. I don't think we've ever been for a hike on New Year's Day, but it was really, I'm glad we did it. It was great.
In Lowndes County, telling your story, Anthony Jenkins Jr., WCBI News.
And you can visit the MDWFP website for more information on upcoming events going on at state parks. Whether you believe in that eating black-eyed peas, cabbage, and eating pork will bring you good luck, good health, and good wealth, having money in your pocket will bring more money, or if you wash your clothes, you wash someone out of your life, New Year's superstitions for a lot of people lead the way.
One superstition I heard is to keep money in your pocket. You'll never go broke at the end of the year. I believe that if you believe something, something will definitely happen in a positive way. So if you think positive things will follow you.
I have definitely heard of, like, you eat cabbage on New Year's, like, to, get more money throughout the year. You eat, like, pork and black-eyed peas for good luck throughout the year. Something else I've heard is that, like, you don't do laundry on New Year's Day. So there's definitely a lot of those out there.
Not doing laundry on New Year's.
Do you?
Well, if you're planning your day tomorrow, rain chances stay a little slim in the morning hours, more rain in the afternoon. I'll have more coming up after the break, though.
Your WCBI First Alert Forecast with Addison Polk.
Well, thanks for staying up with us tonight. It is 10:14, and today we hit 70 degrees for your New Year's. Our record is 75 degrees on this day, but we did not hit 75 degrees. We were 5 degrees away from that, but overall, it was a nice and beautiful New Year's. Tomorrow, though, we are seeing some rain chances overhead. Thursday tonight at 10:10, we're seeing those clouds continue to move into northeast Mississippi. This is bringing some rain into us into the morning hours and afternoon, mainly in those afternoon hours, though. Temperatures right now are sitting in the 40s and the 50s, 41 over in Corinth, 52 in Iuka. Big difference right there, 46 in New Albany. Even looking down south, 53 over in Philadelphia. So we are seeing the range of 40s to 50s. Overall, though, lows are dropping into the low 40s overnight. Starkville, 48 degrees. It is a cloudy night. If you're stepping outdoor, you're definitely going to need a jacket right now heading into the overnight hours. Overall, we'll sit in the 40s, 42 in Aberdeen, 44 in West Point, 46 over in Eupora. So it is going to be a cold Friday morning, but a warmer afternoon as we will hit 64 degrees. Like I said, morning showers are possible. I do see them staying pretty slim. By the afternoon, rain and storms will be the main topic. We're going to continue to stay warm with a southerly breeze rolling in tomorrow, so not necessarily calm winds, but we'll see some gusty winds as well in some of the storms. By your Friday at 70%, 20% for your Saturday, and Sunday through Tuesday drying out. So if you want any plans, the weekend of the weekend, heading into the beginning of next week is the time to have the plans for your Wednesday at 20% and Thursday at 30%. Looking into the next 48 hours, heading into your Thursday overnight, those clouds begin to move in continuously, as we already saw currently what it is looking like. This low pressure system heading out in Oklahoma, it's going to make its way into northeast Mississippi. Let's bring in with it some showers. That's where we're seeing those morning showers, the afternoon development of the storms as well, with the potential for some heavy rainfall and some gusty winds within some of these storms. Like I said, that's continuing to move in for your Friday. Most of the rain in the afternoon hours as that low pressure system continues to drag and move more east of us, with the cloud coverage continuing to hold strong heading into your Saturday as well. Here's a look into your next 7 days, dropping into the 50s by your Sunday, the mid-50s. A little bit chilly on your Sunday, dropping to the 30s at nighttime. So heading into the Monday morning workday, you're going to need to bundle up. But by the afternoon, a light jacket, 64 degrees. Heading into your Tuesday at 70 degrees. We're sticking with above average temperatures as we head to the middle of next week as well.
telling your story. This is WCBI News at 10.
All right, thank you so much for sticking with us on this New Year's Thursday. In 2022, there were more than 44,000 new cases of thyroid cancer reported in the United States. That's the bad news. The good news is that with early detection and treatment, the 5-year survival rate is better than 98%. We learn more in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Abir Zainal, an endocrinologist at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight we will be discussing how to diagnose thyroid cancer. Your doctor will examine your neck to feel for changes, such as a lump, also known as a nodule, in the thyroid. They will ask about risk factors such as past exposure to radiation and a family history of thyroid cancers. Not all nodules are cancer, as nodules can be very common in people. Thyroid function blood tests will be drawn to give clues about the health of your thyroid gland. An ultrasound scan is used to create an image of the thyroid gland. The way a lump or nodule looks helps your provider to see how likely it is to be a cancer. Large nodules with irregular borders and calcium spots are some of those signs. More tests might be needed, such as sampling the thyroid nodule with a fine needle biopsy. This sample is sent for analysis. If the result isn't clear, your doctor may request another biopsy. Special tests to look for genetic changes can also be helpful. You may need one or more other imaging tests, such as a CT or radioactive iodine scan. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will be discussing what is the treatment of thyroid cancer.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. telling your story on WCBI Sports with Carlo Barone.
Welcome back to sports. We are in the Media Hotel here in New Orleans. The Sugar Bowl finishing up here, but before then with Ben Garrett of On 3 in the Ole Miss Spirit. Ben, thanks for joining us. And looking at the program as a whole, win or lose with this game, just finishing up here shortly, you've got to feel good maybe about where they're at because, they have got stability and they don't have to do a new coaching search.
That's obviously the biggest takeaway here. Win, lose, or draw. Ole Miss, because of the messiness of the exit of Lane Kiffin, getting to a place of normalcy and just making it about football has been a welcome reprieve, I think. And it's a credit to Pete for really bringing this program from that messiness and putting it on stable, solid footing. If he wins the game, dude, it would add rocket fuel to what he's trying to build in short order at Ole Miss. If they lose, nothing really changes in that way, but there's no doubt that the outcome of this game, as far as the future for Ole Miss, it could go a long, long way with the win for the obvious reasons in the short term by continue to compete for your first national championship since the 60s, but even more than that with how crazy this year was and how crazy that exit, and we all know what that exit was like. If they were able to get that one, what it would add to what Pete Golding's trying to do, it's truly something you can't quantify because for him, man, this whole run is against the backdrop of what came before it, right? And I think for Pete to be able to return it to normalcy and allow this program to just move forward and make it about the ball is a testament unto itself, but a win would just change things because one thing Pete Golding already has that Lane Kiffin doesn't, he's 1-0 in the playoffs. You're 2-0 with a win over Georgia, and that's the only loss Ole Miss suffered this year with Lane Kiffin as head coach. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. So no doubt it's a huge, huge game. And whether Ole Miss wins it or loses it, they're in a great place, and a lot of it has to do with how they responded to all that. But a win's just different, man. A win, especially considering that Miami upset Ohio State. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that there's a direct path now, and you just if Ole Miss can get it, what it would mean for them would be huge, no doubt.
And yeah, like you said, with a lot of stuff in the short term and the long term that could be coming out of this game. The portal opens tomorrow on January 2nd. So that's a really big deal with, retaining guys. You keep them in the building longer, they can start to do their work elsewhere. But looking at, next year, a win, what that would mean for Pete Golding, he's now the head coach. It's his second game. He would have 2-0 and against, two playoff teams. And I feel like all Ole Miss fans are going to be licking their chops at a chance to play basically the last team in the playoff that's not a G5 team. So looking at, this matchup against Georgia, what it would mean, they'd beat them for the second time in 13 months or so. How big do you think that would be for recruiting and, saying that this is the place that wins? It doesn't really matter because of the head coach.
Unfortunately, the calendar is what it is, to where now after a playoff game, Ole Miss has to immediately worry about the roster implications for 2026. But that's just part of what it is, the calendar that has been created by dummies in Indianapolis just deciding they don't want to do nothing about it, you know what I mean? And so, I think Pete, and when I was talking about the stability earlier, that's a big part of it, man, is just like he just accepts everything that comes with it. The whole coaching awkwardness with the assistants, the calendar flipping to the portal right after they play on New Year's Day to continue their season for their first title since the 60s. But a win would be huge for recruiting in a number of different ways.
And think about how big of a win that was for Lane Kiffin to beat Georgia. If Pete Golding does that in only his second game as head coach, I can't imagine that's going to be anything but just spectacular for the Rebels. But Ben, thanks for joining us. We will have the Sugar Bowl highlights for you guys tomorrow at 5, and that's all we have for sports, and we will be right back.
WCBI Sports special coverage of the college football playoffs with Ole Miss at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans is brought to you by Carl Hogan Toyota, Fastnet, powered by 4 County, Ashley Furniture Columbus, Mama Justice Law Firm, Columbus Nissan, and The Grill. Together taste better at The Grill.
Well, Happy New Year. See you all right back here in the morning.